Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be discussing the fallout from the presidential debate and some theoretical talk about the politics of potentially replacing Biden or moving forward with him, and just generally seeing how this debate has changed the political landscape.
Yeah, so obviously everyone knows that Biden absolutely bombed last Thursday's debate. There is really no dispute about that unless you're delusional. And and honestly, we can see that in not only the polling, which does show a marked increase from the debate to now, with several polls coming in showing Trump doing better than pre-debate on many different levels here, now averaging a lead of 3.8 points in the five-way race and I think 2.7 in the two-way race in the head-to-head. So the real result is probably somewhere in between that.
hmm
Now, uh, the betting odds, which are also, pretty big in determining what's going on, shows Biden at about a coin flip chance to not win the Democratic presidential nomination anymore. Personally, I think he's gonna stay in, which is why I bet $500 on him staying in. But as you can see, I'm down $69. So people are not as not believing as much in Biden. They're believing in Kamala Harris. And so today, really, we're going to be looking at the difference between what a Biden campaign would look like continuing forward with only 2 months until early ballots go out, compared to a complete and sudden reversal of that. With Harris somehow taking the wheel from Biden, whether voluntarily or involuntarily.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the fall of this debate, I've seen Biden shoot up and down in the betting markets. And yeah, he it seems like just genuinely he has a much slower chance of being the Democratic nominee. I personally would put it at 60-40, 60% being that he stays the nominee, because a lot of Democrats did come out in favor of Biden immediately after the debate. His family is encouraging him to continue running, but I do think there is a sizable chunk of the Democratic Party that would like Biden to step down, and I imagine he's under a lot of pressure with this slew of bad polls that have been coming out for him. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll see. Uh,
Yeah, so really right after the debate, former president, the 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama, backed Biden, saying, guys, bad debate nights happen. And for our older viewers, you'll remember how Obama had a really bad first debate as the incumbent president against 2012 Republican nominee Mitt Romney, and ended up winning, which a lot of Democrats that are pro Biden have used to say, guys, like, it'll be okay. Obama sort of shit the bed in 2012. Biden is going to be fine. But there's a lot of differences between 2012 and 2024. For one, Obama is not 81 years old. Obama still was able to form sentences in 2012. And Obama, most notably, was leading the race in 2012 going into that debate. Biden, at best, the most hopeful Democrats would have said that the 2024 election was a coin flip going into the first debate last Thursday. Um, Less hopeful Democrats, maybe more pessimistic Democrats like Luke here on the show, or some independents or Republicans would have largely told you that Trump at least had a slight lead. Our last projection from Bridging the Gap had Trump winning, and this was all pre-debate. So certainly now Trump is winning the election. Trump is ahead, and he's probably not just ahead by a little, as we can see by the polling data. We can also see here that Biden's family encouraged him to stay in the race. This is Jill Biden, Hunter Biden. Their whole family sort of gathered around this weekend, huddled up to say, Joe, we want you to stick in the race. And that probably is a big impact on Joe's decision making. But just today, the first House member, the first Democratic House
Yeah.
member, has called on Biden to withdraw. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so like Lloyd Doggett, a Democrat representing the Austin area in Texas. Yeah, it was the first sitting representative, first member of Congress to come out and tell Biden to drop out of the race. And I'm sure it's gonna. This is just the start, and I imagine we're gonna see a trickle of more Democrats calling for Biden to drop out. But we're gonna see. Like, is this just gonna be like a handful of elected Democrats doing this, or is it gonna really explode? Like, I saw some polling suggesting that around 41% to 45% of Democrats, this is Biden's base, want Biden to drop out or would like Biden to drop out. That's a substantial amount, and yeah, like we're really going to see like in the coming days, like is Biden going to make that decision? And yeah, how that really would affect the presidential race.
Yeah, you might also recall that in 2020, the then I think House Whip,
Yeah, I believe
right?
so.
House
Yeah.
Whip, Clyburn in 2020 basically vaulted Joe Biden to the presidency when he was trailing Bernie Sanders in the primary by helping him win a lot of black voters in South Carolina, which basically helped Biden stay afloat in that primary that he was doing horribly in. He is now sort of coming against Biden. I wouldn't say that exactly, but he's sort of leaving the possibility of Vice President Harris being at the top of the ticket. He's saying we should stick with Miss Harris no matter if she's in VP or as president, which he's basically saying that she might be on at the president when you vote for president this November, which would be huge, huge news, absolutely huge news, which is why we do want to look at that possibility. And what's your opinion? Because for me, I really think that Kamala Harris would do better right now in terms of the election. I don't know. I mean, I think she would probably do worse in a few swing states that could be really important, like the Rust Belt. However, generally, at least nationally, looking at it now, I think Kamala would stand a better chance than Biden.
Yeah, I generally agree. I mean, you can even go to the 538 polls.
Oh
There's
yeah, we
some
can have 538
I
polls
think CNN came out with some polls testing different Democrats, and then a little later than that,
right here,
Data
right
for
here.
Progress did. And yeah, you can see like in that poll, Harris is doing better than Biden. Like Biden's poll, like in a head-to-head, Biden is 6 behind Trump. Harris is only 2 behind Trump, and neither of the candidates are at 50% yet. So she's still like there's more undecideds I believe in that race, or maybe the same
Yeah,
amount of undecideds. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, like she's in a better position than Biden, uh, at least according to that CNN poll. And as for the other Democrats, like I believe they're like even in a slightly better position too, as you can see there. So yeah, we're gonna really have to see how this plays out. Like I was saying before, the polling looks really bad for Biden with him. Polling worse than these other Democrats. If you want to scroll down to a poll from the day before, Data for Progress. I wonder if you can find it.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
there it
far
is. Yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah, there it is. So yeah, Data for Progress did a poll immediately after the debate, testing all the Democrats, and yeah, you can see it's about the same for all of them. But the main difference that I would argue why these other Democrats are doing better than Biden is there's more undecideds in most of their polling, and those I imagine as because they're less known, obviously. They're less known figures compared to Trump. Like, for example, Pete Buttigieg or J.D. Pritzker. Not many people nationally know them yet. And I imagine if they were in a head-to-head with Trump, their name recognition would increase and they would be polling better. They would end up polling better by November when it actually matters. So yeah, like I think a lot of this polling is putting immense pressure on Biden. Um, yeah, I mean, do you have any opinions? Like, what do you make of it?
I think something to remember, to keep in mind, is that we vote for president not through a popular vote, right, guys? We vote for president using an electoral college. And it's very important to remember that Republicans, as of now, until Texas turns a Democrat, Republicans will always have that advantage, right? So that electoral college advantage. So unless Texas goes blue in the next decade or so, Republicans are going to continue having that advantage. And what's going to happen is that Trump really needs only to be losing to Biden in these national polls by maybe 2 points or so, right? What would you say, like 1 to 2 points? I think he would probably still win the Electoral College if he was down 1 to 2 points.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
up. He's up 2 points right now. I mean, you could average out the 538 in the Real Clear Politics two-way average and the five-way average. I mean, he's probably up 2.5. 3 points, maybe pushing 3 points, and that's without all the polls coming in post debate, right? You're going to have a New York Times
You're
poll,
right.
you're going to have all these other pollsters that haven't really said anything. They'll probably drop something within the next few days or maybe next week. And that's going to continue to factor in. Biden's still getting a whole lot of negative news coverage. He hasn't gotten a single positive thing since Thursday. And he's only going further down. Trump, for his part, hasn't exactly gotten bad news coverage right now. He's just gotten his sentencing delayed, a few minutes ago as of the recording of this video to September. So now the sentencing is now going to be in September. And so
Hmm.
this whole thing that's going on is only benefiting Trump. And Trump is running about 3 to 5 points above where he needs to be to win the electoral college, 3 to 5 points up.
Yeah.
And at some point, with more pollsters coming in, you're now going to get that lead to maybe 6 or 7 points above what Biden needs to win the electoral college. Like, yes, Trump isn't leading, obviously, nationally by 6 to 7 points. But if Trump is leading by 3 or 4, he's probably going to take off Wisconsin and thereby the presidency. So you just
Yeah.
sort of have to think about it in that respect. Let's also talk about what more in depth of the CNN poll, right? Because the CNN poll does not just look at the horse race. It doesn't just look at Trump versus Biden. It looks at what Democrats think and what people think would be best for the Democratic Party. So this is all voters. So Republicans, Democrats, Independents can all say what they think would
Mm.
be better for Democrat chances. So even Republicans are probably going to be pretty honest with themselves here. They're going to say, oh, maybe Harris would do better and whatever. And Democrats probably think, someone else would do better because only a quarter of people think that our current president has the best Democratic chance of winning the presidency. That is a measly 25%. I've never seen numbers so low in my entire life on a question like this. Have you? I mean, I've never seen something like that. It's really crazy. I know it's politically risky to switch to Harris or someone else, but at some point you gotta just bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, most people think that Trump is just more mentally and physically able to handle the presidency because at the end of the day, you can think, you might have great policies, you might be a great speaker, you might be this or that, but if you can't really stand up 18 hours of the day, as some reporting has said, they've said that some reporting says from inside Biden's circle that he's only really aware and alert from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This from Axios. I mean, that's crazy, right? So, what do you think about all this
I
polling and
mean,
everything?
personally, I think Biden should drop out of the race.
Wow,
Yeah,
big.
like I'm not even like I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this. Like that debate performance was horrible. And it's pretty clear the aftermath that in the polling it's gotten better for Trump. Biden's been down, it's been red flags for a while. Biden's been doing pretty bad in the polls for a while now. But now we're really getting into election season, and he's still down, and he essentially made his situation even worse. So yeah, I really think like the best play for Democrats right now is Biden stepping up and like giving a grand speech about democracy and how like to defeat the greatest threat to democracy the US has ever faced, which is Trump, who essentially led a coup against the country on January 6th, like going up, giving a speech about that and stepping down for Harris to come in and run and finish what he started to actually beat this guy. Because I'm actually genuinely concerned for a Trump second term And I don't think Biden's going to be the guy that can stop him. If you can't refute him on a debate stage, like we definitely need someone who can, like someone who could actively stand up to his lies, because like it's definitely dangerous. Um, so yeah, I think just for the sake of the country, we need to get someone else up there, someone who could actually convey the message of the party and save our country.
Yeah, while I obviously disagree with how you characterize that, I will say pragmatically that you're right in terms of Biden's electoral chances. So I completely disagree on some of that, but the thing that I do completely agree with you on is that Biden does not have a better chance of taking down Trump than someone else. Okay, because the thing with this is that another point I have to make right now is that this campaign, while it seems like it's close to November, it's sort of not. And there's still 4 more months left. And yes, you could say, there's not a lot of time to switch out. Yeah, you can't really hold another primary. That's probably largely true. You'd have to hold a national primary all at once, which could be really chaotic, that you probably don't want to do. You would probably have to consolidate around Kamala Harris, who is not particularly liked among the American public. She's one of the people with the lowest approval ratings as well. However, Biden is just doing so terribly that I do think that's your guys' best option. I mean, there's really no two ways of saying that. There's going to be many more moments from now until November of Biden, unable, hovering over that chair in France or walking away to talk to that paratrooper in Italy or whatever. It's just really not going to look good. And the problem is for Biden that whether you might say that these clips are edited, which they largely aren't, but even if you say they are, they're gonna spread like wildfire way more than what happened on that debate. Because now, if you're the media, you can't twist the Biden narrative anymore. You can't say Biden's doing fine as they've been saying for years. You just can't. Now the American public has seen Biden. 51 Americans have watched the debate. Uh, and now many more are seeing it replays afterwards, through social media clips. It's over for any positive image of Biden's mental acuity. And I think you just have to replace him. Uh, Kamala would do better. I know everyone in the political sphere would be pretty upset because they would have to reset all their forecasts for a new nominee. Don't know if the country would elect a black woman at this time, but you know,
Yeah,
it just
I
it
mean,
just got to change. Just got to change.
I,
Something's
I,
got to change for the Democrats.
yeah, I do largely agree that it's gonna like if we are replacing Biden, it's gonna have to be Kamala. It really can't be anyone else because I
Can't.
mean she's currently the vice president, for one. For two, if you replace Biden with anyone but Kamala, Kamala as the vice president has partial ownership of the Biden's campaign. So if it's anyone but Kamala, then you lose like the millions and millions and millions of dollars that the Biden campaign has built up. You lose all the campaign headquarters, all that campaign infrastructure you built throughout the country over the last few months. You'd lose all of that. The only person who'd keep that is Kamala Harris. So yeah, like I think it really just be like, and also like you'd be snubbing like the black woman vice president. Like why? Like it would look bad too to do that. So
Yep.
yeah,
Horrible.
I can't really see it being anyone but Kamala. Um, and like I think there would be many benefits to having Kamala Harris instead of Biden. I think she could help raise enthusiasm among young voters, which has been tanking with this choice between Biden and Trump. I think that new perspective could definitely help. And I think for turning out Democrats, that'd be much better just for like turnout wise, turning out the base. She'd do so much. I think she could do so much better than Biden. Um, like areas where she might do worse than Biden. I don't know, maybe in those Midwestern states where like especially in Pennsylvania where
They
Biden
are
has like
crucial
ties.
though.
Yeah,
They
like
are
I don't know, like
crucial.
she might do worse among white independent voters there. They like cuz I mean, yeah, like maybe people think Harris is more progressive than Biden. That could turn them
Which
off and
she
like
largely
or,
is. Yeah.
yeah, so like that imagery might turn off some voters. But I just think overall, like I think she's going to it would help more than it would hurt to have someone else other than Kamala other than Biden. in that position right now.
Yeah, and with that, we're gonna wrap it up. Joe Biden now trading at 51 cents on predicted, down 17 cents on the day. We'll see what happens. He'll probably go up passively, like you said, if nothing else happens. But if a second House member starts calling for Biden to go, it's gonna drop again. Hopefully he stays in for my $500 sake. But maybe you don't want him to stand, because if he does, Trump's probably gonna win this presidency. So who knows? Something's gonna happen. We don't really have control over this, so really all you can do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, or more like the shit show coming from the Democrats. So we'll see what happens as they continue to panic. And yeah, make sure to like
Yep.
this video. Comment down below what your thoughts on this. If you think Biden's gonna stay in, is he gonna stay in? It's about a 50-50 right now, according to the betting markets. Subscribe, because we're gonna bring you the latest news on this, especially if he drops out.
Yep.
And ring that bell. Share this video with your family and friends if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
So yeah.